Hello, my dear students. How are you doing? I hope that you are in a good health. In this lesson, I'd like to have some humor at the beginning. That's why we are going to start off by some jokes. I hope that you like these jokes. So here are your jokes. The joke number one says, a man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, whenever I touch, it hurts." The doctor asks, "What do you mean?" The man says, "When I touch my shoulder, it really hurts. If I touch my knee, ouch. When I touch my forehead, it really hurts." The doctor says, "I know what's wrong with you. You have broken your finger." This is the finger, okay? So joke number two, a teenage girl had been talking on the phone. You can see the photo here for about half an hour, and then she hung up. Okay, she stopped talking on the phone. "Wow," said her dad, he's there. "That was short. You usually talk for 2 hours. What happened?" The girl said, "Wrong number," replied the girl. The number was wrong and she talked about half an hour. So these are your jokes for this lesson. I hope that you like these jokes and you have some fun. Okay, we already started talking about the secrets of memory. We saw different tips to improve your memory. How do you remember the things from the past, and so on. So in this lesson, we will continue talking about the things you can remember well from your past. We are going to start with this exercise here. So we are going to test your memory by answering the quiz questions. This is the quiz questions as quickly as you can and give brief details for each answer. We have got example here. So let's talk about number one. Can you remember anything that happened to you before you were 3? We have an example answer. I remember my grandfather and he died when I was 2.5. So I want you to answer these questions in the quiz and try to give a brief details in your answers. So these are the questions. You have got 8 questions here. That's okay. So now we will move to talk about listening. You are going to listen to an exercise which is related to this quiz. So here you are going to listen to 5 people discussing this quiz. Which question in this quiz is each speaker in the audio or in the recording here discussing. So let's listen and discover what's going on here. So okay.
Unit 2, recording 1. 1. Last English lesson, I was wearing jeans and a white shirt. I think. 2.
I can clearly remember walking on my own for the first time. I was about 13 months old, and I was walking with my parents. They were holding my hands. Suddenly, my favorite aunt appeared at the door, and I walked towards her, on my own.
3.
At that time, I was watching football on TV, probably.
4.
Her name was Miss Spivey, and she was quite young, about 25, I think, and she had very dark hair and dark eyes. And she always wore a lot of makeup on her eyes, I remember.
5.
While I was shopping in town, I saw the news on the TVs in a shop window. I went into the shop and asked the assistant what was happening. Everyone in the shop was talking about it. They were really shocked.
Okay, now we will move to talk about the exercise number 3. So you are going to use the recording you have just listened to. So here you are going to remember what the speaker said, and then you are going to complete the listening extract below. So here you are going to complete these extracts. From the recording. So here you have got some blanks. Okay. Yes, that's okay. So later you are going to underline each past simple verb in the sentences in exercise 3A. So here in this exercise you are going to look for the simple or past simple verbs and try to underline them. Then you are going to categorize them into two categories, into regular and irregular verbs. Okay, concerning this this exercise, I think we have already talked about the past simple. What is the past simple? How do we form it, and when do we use it? In this session, we are going to have a short review of what we have done last session. Okay, so here is the review. So this is the past simple. This is what we talked about last session. So this is a brief and short review. So the past simple is divided into two kinds or two categories. The regular verbs that end in ed. We have an example here: play, played, watch, watched, and so on. And the irregular verbs. Here we have a different form of the verbs. Example: see, saw. So we are going to use a timeline, okay, like this one, in order to discover when do we use past simple. So we have an example here: I saw the news on TV last night. So when do we see the news? We saw the news on TV last night. Okay, we have got some questions here. This question will help you to understand when do we use the past simple. Number one, is the action in the past here? So look at the action. Is it in the past? So yes, it is in the past. Is the action finished? I saw the news on TV last night. So the action finished last night. Yes. Is there any connection with the present? No. So is the action of seeing the news still continuous now? No. So it is completed in the past. Do we know when it happened? Yes, we usually know when it happened. So it happened last night. So this is the use of past simple. So the past simple, it's used to talk about things that happened in the past. So here, last night, and we know when this thing happened. And finished, it means they don't have any connection with the present. It means finished and completed in the past and have no connection with the present. So this is the use. And now move to talk about when do we use or how do we form the past simple. So this is the form. In the affirmative, we have got subject plus verb plus simple past. This is an example: I saw the news on TV last night. So this is subject, I. The verb is saw, which is in the simple past. Negative, we formed the negative of the simple past like this: subject plus didn't plus verb in the infinitive. We have example: I didn't see the news on TV last night. So subject, didn't, this verb, which is see, is the infinitive. Here we shouldn't write so. Interrogative is formed like or in this way: did plus subject plus verb plus infinitive. So did you see? So this is did plus subject, which is you, and plus see in the infinitive. Did you see the news on TV last night? So last session we saw different exercises. I can put those exercises again in the group for the people who didn't attend last session. So this is how do we form the past simple and when do we use it. Okay, now we will move to talk about another grammar item, which is the past continuous. Okay, let's continue doing the exercises in our course book. So this is where we arrived, where we stopped exactly here. So for B, you are going to circle 7 examples of the past continuous in exercise 3A. How do we form the past continuous? So go back to the exercise 3A, try to circle the past or the examples of the past continuous, like this one here: I was wearing. And then try to find out how do we form this tense. That's okay. So this is the grammar. Here we have got a timeline again. As you see, the timeline or timelines are very, very important in order to explain verb tense, to show the relationship between the events according to the tense we have got here. So look at the timeline and examples, then choose the correct answers to complete the rules. We have got some rules here. You are going to complete these rules, or you are going to choose the correct option in order to complete the rule. So the example says, I saw the news on TV while I was shopping. So here the time is now, and here we have got future and the past. So the actions we have got here, I was shopping, I saw news on TV. Okay, so we are going to explain this in details just to help you to understand what is past continuous, because you are going to do a lot of exercises concerning the past continuous. So here, as we did with the past simple, we are going to do the same thing for the past continuous. We have got some exercises that can help us in order to understand how and when do we use the past continuous. So this is the example. I saw the news on TV while I was shopping. Number one, are we talking about the past, present, or future? So look at the example. What are we talking about here? What is the action of this example? So here we have the past. The action happened in the past. How many actions are there in the past? There are two actions as you can see here. Action number one, saw the news. And then action number two, was shopping. So there are two actions. What is the tense of each action? So the first action is in the simple past. We have got saw. The second action is in the past continuous, was shopping. Did both actions happen at the same time? So did they happen at the same time? So as you can see here, no, they didn't happen at the same time. No. So did one action happen before the other? Yes. So try to look at the timeline here. So look at the action, I was shopping and I saw the news on TV. So I was shopping happened before I saw the news on TV. Which action happened first? It's I was shopping. I was shopping happened first. Did I start shopping before I saw the news? Yes. So look at the timetable. I already started the shopping here before I saw the news on TV. So was the action of shopping, which is in the past continuous, was in progress when I saw the news. So look at the action here. It was continuous. It was in progress when I saw the news on TV. Yes. So did I stop shopping? Yes, I was shopping here. It was continuous until here. I stopped. Why? In order to saw the news on TV for a short time and then continue shopping. So yes, I stopped. Why? To see the news. So this is these questions in fact guided us to answer to understand when and how do we use the past continuous. So please, we are going to explain these things in more details. So this is the use. When do we use the past continuous? To talk about an activity that was in progress. So this is the activity was in progress. It means was continuous and interrupted by a single complete action. It is interrupted. It means it is stopped. Here, interrupted by a single action. So here we can make a difference between long activity and short activity. So the past continuous shows us that the past simple action, this is the past simple action, happened in the middle of the past continuous while it was in progress. So this is the past continuous. You are going to answer these questions. You are going to circle the correct choice or option. Now we will move to see another use of the past continuous. So here another use. Okay. So this is another use of the past continuous. Okay, an action in progress at a past point in time. So let's start with this example. I was watching the news on TV at 9 o'clock. So here we have got a specific time. So number one, did I start watching TV before 8? So look at the timeline here. Did I start watching TV before 8? Yes, I started here before 8. Was I still watching TV after 8? Look at after 8. Was I still watching? Yes. So was this action in progress at 8? So the action was watching, was in progress, was continuous at 8 o'clock, at a specific time in the past. So when do we use the past continuous here? The past continuous shows us that the action was already in progress. It was already in continuous at a certain time in the past. This is the certain time in the past. So how do we form the past continuous? In the affirmative, we have the subject. So example here, I, plus was or were. Here we have was because we have I here, plus verb, which is watch, plus ing. Okay, I was watching the news on TV at 9 o'clock. Negative, we have got subject, I, was, I'm sorry here, negative, I we have subject, plus wasn't or weren't. It's not was. Okay, plus wasn't or weren't. This is, so we have got the example here. I wasn't watching the news on TV. So the interrogative form, was or were plus subject plus verb plus ing. Were you watching the news on TV at 9 o'clock, or was I watching the news on TV at 9 o'clock? So this is everything about the past continuous. I hope that you understand it. Now let's move to do some exercises. Okay, in order to practice what we have learned up to now, which means the past simple and the past continuous, could you please do these exercises? So number one, write the past simple form of these regular and irregular verbs. Here we are going to write just the past simple. Number two, complete the sentences with the past simple form of the verbs in exercise number one. So complete with the past simple form of the verb in exercise number one. You are going to use this exercise in order to fill in the blanks of exercise number two. So three, write questions with the past simple. So here you have got sentences. Okay, you should use these words in order to make questions in the past simple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, number 4, it is talking about the past continuous. You are going to write the ing form of these verbs. So we have got 14 verbs here. Try to add ing, like attach, attaching, and so on. And try to pay attention to the spelling of some words. Maybe sometimes you are going to double some consonants. Like, for example, here, run, you are going to write running with double N. So, exercise number 5. Complete the sentences with the past continuous form of the verbs in brackets. So we have got some verbs here between parentheses. Try to put them in the past continuous. It means you are going to use was or were plus verb plus ing. Number 6, choose the correct option. So here you have got two words. Choose which one is correct, a simple past or past continuous. 7, complete the sentences with the past simple or the past continuous form of the verbs in brackets. Okay, you have words in brackets. Try to make a comparison here between the simple past and the past continuous, okay, according to the context of these sentences. 8, complete the story with the correct past tense form of the verbs in brackets. Try to complete this story, please. Okay, this is a story that you can complete using either the past tense, the past simple, or the past continuous. Okay, here, okay, so we have got other exercises about past continuous too. So these are some other exercises. So do this one here. This is another exercise, past continuous, last Saturday. So the time is last Saturday. Look at the picture and answer the questions below. So here you have got some phrases. The first thing that you should do, match these phrases or these sentences with the photos you have got there. Here you have got the time. And answer the questions about these people. So what was Jake doing at 8 a.m.? This is Jake and this is 8 a.m. last Saturday. What was he doing? He was getting up. Where did we get this expression of getting up? It's here, get up. Change it to the past continuous. Okay, here are more exercises about the past continuous in your course book. So try to match these answers with the questions you have got here in the quiz. Okay, then try to circle the correct verb form, simple past or past continuous. So exercise 2. This is a listening activity and reading at the same time. Read the story of how Vicky's grandparents met. Complete the text with the correct form of verb in brackets. Then listen and check. So the first thing that you should do, read this story. Try to put the following or the verbs in brackets into the correct form. Okay, here you are. Okay, when you finish, listen and check your answers.
Unit 2, Recording 2.
The most romantic story I know is the way my grandparents met. They were travelling from London to Newcastle by train. And in those days, it was a long journey. So after a while, they started talking. They soon discovered that they had a lot in common. Both of them were from Newcastle, but both of them were training to be journalists in London, and both of them were going home to see their families for Christmas. The weather was terrible. Apparently it was snowing really badly all the way to Newcastle. At one point, the train stopped for quite a long time, but it obviously wasn't a problem, because somehow, during the journey, they fell in love and decided to get married. By the time they reached Newcastle, they were engaged. The wedding took place a few weeks later, and amazingly, they are still happily married 50 years later.
Okay, now we will move to an important aspect of language, which is pronunciation. So here we need to explain something that is very, very important. So listen and count the number of syllables in the past forms below. So we are going to listen and try to say how many syllables are there in these verbs. As we already talked about the syllable. What do we mean by a syllable? A syllable is a single or unbroken sound of a spoken or written word. Okay, so here, this word. So, for example, let's talk about this. Start. So here we have got unbroken sound. So start. This is one syllable. If you say started, so how many sounds how many broken sounds have we got here? Two sounds. Started. Id. Okay. So try to listen and say how many syllables are there in these verbs. Sorry.
Unit 2, Recording 3. Started.
Started.
Discovered. Stopped.
decided, reached.
Okay, after you have listened to the pronunciation of these verbs, now we are going to say in which words is ed. This one is ed pronounced as a separate syllable and what. So, okay, I'm going to answer this question for you because it requires some explanation. So, ed is pronounced as a separated syllable in started and decided. Why? Because this is because we pronounce the ed after the sounds et. So if you look here, started. So here it's ed is pronounced id. So id. So the letters we have got here, I and D. Okay. So started. So ed is pronounced here. So discovered. Here there is no ed. So let's look at this ones. Decided. So ed. So here ed is pronounced id. Okay. So exercise number 2-4. Here are some more ed past forms. How are they pronounced? Listen and check. Write the words with the same pronunciation in groups. So here, what are you going to do? You are going to categorize these verbs under the ed soundings, under t, d, or id. So listen, and later we are going to explain these things in details.
Unit 2, recording 4. Arrived. Asked. Invited.
So try to
Remembered.
classify these verbs here.
Expected. Studied. Visited. Offered. Hoped. Watched. Worked. Noticed. Travelled.
Okay, please, I'm going to show you some techniques how to make a difference between the ed endings pronunciation, how to pronounce ed t, and how to pronounce it t, and how to pronounce it ed. So here we have got some voiced sounds and unvoiced sounds. Okay, please, I want you to put your fingers here around your throat, okay, and try to pronounce this list of letters. The list number 1, m, n, v, z, and g. So here, when you pronounce these letters, you feel some vibration here, vibration in your throat. That's why they are called voiced sounds. If you pronounce the letter in this list here, like f, k, ch, sh, s, sh. So here, no vibration. You don't feel any vibration in your throat. That's why they are pronounced in voiced sounds. So the ed is pronounced t when it comes after an voiced sound, and it is pronounced d when it comes after voiced sound, and ed is pronounced it when it comes after these sounds, after t and d. Okay, I think that's all for this video. I hope that you learned something from this video. It was great having your attention. Thank you again. If you have got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them, to write and send them in the group. I'm going to be here in order to answer those questions and to give you some feedback. Concerning the way of answering these questions, I want you to take a piece of paper or a copybook and try to organize your answers. Try to say exercise 1, 2, 3, and then take a photo of your answers and put it in the group. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.